tua ma le au nanga le moto sa mo service station nei tona I matu. Ma tau te utuina lo ta vale ma le tele o nisi o matu au nanga ese ese. Ai le ngata foi le ma tau te sia ke ina fo ilo ta vale. Siapa lah yang foi suau mau lau tapan. Afai foi vai pa olo sa. Awala te pon ma tu te siapa lah yang foi e mau lau tapan. Molo no posila fia. Mua tape lau ta vale pe out. Nua tape lau telefoni il time utu ina lau tapan. Male vaenga mulu. Mana tua fo e matua I fasa ina lo tau maftapa ai no fuanga papeni. Ota Samoa, ore mota mo Samoa. Mado te fia e au na pe mo o Samoa. Maftaila fia mai. We'll see you again. God bless.
I vili mai tina to meti mai New Zealand mai vai lo talo fa facciale e la forma il telefoni per ya on me piccino ana ya talo fa faccia ya wai te le ta walu se ofisa voi le se te tala lo ofisa mai ya le sa no puerta o le sia sa so si farò lo fa in ofie a me se le per wai ma lo telefoni tai mi uma ono vinga na anda sa wa le talo fa faccia mai tina to meti sa lo farò lo se chi talo fa faccia.
Talofa lava everyone, malole soi formalangi mama, and welcome, a warm Pacific greetings to all of our beautiful viewers today. You guys are wondering, oh my gosh, don't switch off. I know le ele isau ir kako kengi leo Claudia, but don't leave me. I need you. She's left me today. Unfortunately, she's got some very, very important things to do today, but that's okay. Like I've mentioned before, every day it's different here at Blue Wave. We're all about family and prioritizing irkako ainga. So, Claudia, our love, sending a lot of love out to you today. So we hope you're doing well. Today, wow, it's been an interesting day. I've had such an awesome time actually today talking to the beautiful, beautiful Floris, who is our special guest today. It's actually been quite an interesting little chat that we had before I jumped on. So I'm actually really, really excited to have Floris come through and talk a little bit about the Koko farm. Before we head into it, how's your day been? Because mine has been a little bit hectic. I bumped into the owners of Other Active Wear. So a massive shout out to Puni and Kelsey. Mainly Puni. So hi Puni, Kelsey. Well, you can move along, girlfriend. But otherwise, a shout out to the awesome Puni and Kelsey. And I just wanted to do this quick plug-in. My goodness, check it out. The gears have arrived. We've got Other Active Wear, so a shout out to Puni. I know angale Puni le se alofa. So thank you very much, Puni, for hooking it up. But no, I didn't. They didn't hook up. It's all about supporting local. They did say that they would hook it up, but it's not about that. So it is winter, and we've got some gears here. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. And guess who gets a special one too? Beppe gets one too. Look at how cute that is. It is Ava Active Apparel. So if you're looking for some warm winter gears, you already know where to go. Support your local. Head over to Ava Activewear Apparel, like their page, and then place an order. Today I got mine delivered by the owners, so feeling a little bit special there. Otherwise, yeah, no, it's been a really good day. What else has happened today, Lemo? Not much, actually. We've had Lorenzo's show that's just finished. So if you haven't tuned into Lorenzo's, head over now and check it out. They did talk a little bit about their health, the heart, also healthy eating. So head over, check it out. It is also available on YouTube. So head over to YouTube, hit like, subscribe. All of the above, and you'll get all of the information there just for you. We're going to get into a break so we can bring our special guest on. But before we do, look, a massive whawhetai lava ia tu lea whionga ia whaimalo Alan Stowers. Pacific Easy, the secure and popular way to send your money to and from Samoa. Look, you know, I did share a few weeks ago my experience where I walked into a dairy. The shopkeeper didn't connect with their customer because they didn't know. They weren't familiar with Samoa. So I'm just saying, if you need to speak in our language, head over to Pacific Easy. They've got various branches here in Auckland, but check the details online. Of course, Pacific 40, the beautiful Falute who continues to support our team, the girls here, the Blue TV team, showing that love is just, it's so important. We really appreciate it. Maota o Samoa, thank you so much for your love and support. We've got Seki Works, Sei Oriana, of course, who hooked up the chat for today, and of course the Pacific Business Hub. That's it. I'm going to wrap that up because I need to bring the special guest on who's going to talk about koko farming industry in Samoa, organic. And also, stay tuned because there's some exciting news as well that she's got to share. But I'm just really excited because, you know, a lot of us are like, koko farming. Well, actually, you know, you might want to listen into this because the beautiful Floris has been approached by so many in Europe. So you might want to listen in because if you're in Samoa, you might want to change your mindset just a little bit because the koko industry might be where you want to be. Stay tuned, guys. We're going to play a little video from the women in Samoa, koko farming, the organic team in Samoa who's doing it the organic way. Check it out. Sorry.
In Samoan farming traditions, we grew up hearing our elders speak of the special times to plant seeds. As a child, I heard elders speaking of the right time to plant certain crops, weeding or cutting the grass and pruning trees like koko. As I grew older, these traditions became a haze. As women, there are many things about the land and nature which we feel and act on intuitively. As I became more involved with other women in Samoa, this wisdom was somehow compared and shared among my farming sisters, and it created a bond between us that needs no explanation.
I've always been here. Even though I left, always my heart was here. Just being here for about 10 years now, you just see the land. We decided to do something about it. Been enjoying it ever since. It's peaceful. We plant all the stuff that we eat. And we saw the need that we can use the rest of the land to put stuff in to sell.
And especially the cucumbers.
We do get out there and weed.
Mm-hmm, we do. Yeah,
If not in the morning, in the evening, we are always out there working along with our workers. The thing that people don't realize is they're spraying, it only kills the top off. So the rest of the root down there, it just gets bigger and harder to pull out. And that's the thing people don't realize. It's quick, but yet it's going to give you double work. We can manage it. We just have to learn how to get back to that.
Nga ola mai lava ola uahi, nga ola ukamamlo ki nga ola ufi whakuanga. Sa oli whakuanga lava sa kausi mai mako. Ole tūlanga la sa whaonga umakua, ele ai mangi vai la au. Pe ole silia lu ikau ya uai. Awai o mea uma o awala le sa whaonga la ue, whaonga lava ia, mea ole nā tūru ai. Ele ingi vai la au pe nga il kemingi. E pe ole whakuanga mako, ole organic farm. Pe la whakainga ole sweet corn, ole silea mea ka whaalongo ka ola mai ia ka whaalongo whamai. E koko le kaimi le ako al masinga, e koko konga le sanga le kaimi nga. Awa a whai ke koko ala wa songe le masinga. Nga ole le kaimi harvest, e ako le leile, le whaku o le sanga lea. And then I did try le nga ukango whakaikai, e sa o le leile.
Mo yang ai kama imea peace po yala ikia e maua yang ai se lengi nga e mea ngai mika faya ya yo foi la ngai mea mengi ia e mafai foi nga maua foi le kupi awa ka ke alu a manga o mia mai se fala yang ka sa foi le lalanga.
This farming calendar, using Mother Nature's moon cycles or phases, is just our way of honoring the ancient wisdom of our farming ancestors. It also seeks to inspire, I guess, and empower our next generation of women who are growers and farmers everywhere.
Talofa lava and welcome back. Yes, sorry, I did forget to say kia orana and happy Cook Island Language Week. Yes, a massive whawhetai lava to the Ministry of Pasifika people who continue to put these initiatives forward so that we can celebrate, acknowledge and honour our culture here in New Zealand. The programs that we do almost every month to celebrate our culture, our community. Oh, I love it. Absolutely love it. This week we celebrate Cook Island Language Week. But today, joining us is the beautiful Floris. I hope you enjoyed that video. That was such a beautiful video and it captured, I wanted to cry. We watched it earlier on, but sis, it's beautiful. Ko kere kako, we just kind of we miss Samoa so much. So that video really, pulled on those heartstrings. But welcome, Floris Niu here joins us. Sis, how are you?
I'm great. I'm so honoured to be here, and I'm grateful also that Sayoriana and Sab is able to make this happen for us, and also they sponsor us in Samoa and distribute our calendar in Samoa. But thank you so much for letting me come on the program. And the video is amazing.
Yeah.
And it is true to the colours of Samoa. And yeah, we all miss it because it's very cold here right now.
It is very cold. That's why I'm wearing my jumper, my new one. Oh, wait, never mind. Sorry. That's me. Sorry, sis, please. I'm sure everyone, all of our viewers are wondering, Koko Farmer, where are you from? Please do a intro for our viewers today.
Sure. So, as you know, I'm Floris Niu, and I'm the owner and founder of Miss Sunshine Organic Farms in Upolu. And I have been farming full-time since 2014. I went back after, some years. I grew up in New Zealand, born in Samoa, but grew up in New Zealand. And in 2014, I had some major things happen in my life that kind of set me back a little bit. And I ended up in the middle of my grandparents' plantation. And of course, that's where I saw the light. And literally, I'm not kidding, because this picture here is basically what I saw when I decided that I was going to go back to farming and become a farmer. Something similar to this anyway. But yeah, that's how I went back into farming.
But how beautiful is that? And just before we go on, so Floris is actually featured in April, which is my month, and it's also the month of our boss, which is Masan Anai. So, and I'm going to do this plug. It's actually Lauli's month as well. So, sorry. Anyways, moving along. This is also the quote that's in the April, that's featured in April. The biggest lesson the land has taught is how gentle with it. Sorry, did I write that wrong?
It's how we need to be gentle.
Is how we need to be gentle with it. I really love that.
What Mother Nature needs is what my needs are as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's so true. And that is the inspiration for the calendar that we put together. With some of the women farmers that have, been working alongside me. Obviously, it's not just me. There are so many women farmers out there in Samoa and doing a damn good job on the land. As you know, that lots of our young men and maybe older men, our age as well, moving to New Zealand for RSE work. And it has left a little bit of a gap in the farming industry in Samoa. And so we've been working with these women for a very long time, and 12 of them, including myself, have come together to put together this wonderful calendar to showcase the work of women the work that we do as women on farming, but also organic farming and traditional farming, and I guess kind of harking back to how our ancestors used to farm by the moon, using the moon to plant or not to plant, to fish or not to fish. And those are kind of the inspiration that this generation of women have come together, all 12 of us, to share with the rest of the world, with Samoa. But we want to share with the rest of the world because right now we need more Koko farmers in Samoa. And the inspiration also has been Koko, because we have been trying to improve the industry and improve the livelihoods at the same time of our farmers in the Pacific. So that's how we came to the calendar. And then, of course, a project with MFAT, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Trade here in New Zealand. They have supported us for part of this calendar as well. And they've obviously noticed how we are doing things as women in the Pacific. And, of course, there's a lot to do with women's economic empowerment. You know, they're always out there supporting us women, and that's why they've wanted to, support this work. And I think it's really important work because it's not only talking about women and their farms, it's talking about the way that we're impacting our land. Everything that we do, the way that we grow food, and also how we're, impacting people's lives and their health because of the food because of the chemicals that we're putting into the soil. So that's why the calendar came together, and here we are.
Yeah, and I really love it. And I'm just talking about going back the moon. I didn't know that you followed. So can you talk to me, because I'm just like, the moon. So can you please talk a little bit about what do you mean you follow the moon with how you, obviously, going organic, but following the moon?
Well, organic, I mean, there was no such thing as organic farming before. That's just a modern word that they use now. But traditional farming is what it really is. And it's how our ancestors used to farm. So, of course, they didn't have calendars.
Yep.
They couldn't predict what was going to happen, but they did know every certain period of the year when the moon is full or the moon is half or the quarter, or there are two phases. There's mainly a waxing phase and a waning phase of the moon. And so when these phases happen, the moon, moisture in the earth or in the soil is controlled by the moon. So all water on the planet is controlled by the moon. And so this is an ancient thing. It's nothing that I made up or any scientist made up. I mean, it was discovered. But us specific people, back in the day, this is how we followed. This is how we lived our lives. There were certain times where we could fish and certain times that we had to stop fishing, and it was by looking at the moon and knowing that this is the phase where we need to pull back and let the fish multiply and do their thing. And it's the same with farming. So like Fortino was explaining in the video, if you plant corn in the full moon, when you go to harvest it, it'll be a complete corn. All the seeds will be complete. And that's just, that's only the ice, we're not even puncturing the surface of anything. This is such a big conversation. And what it is, it's about us going back and being more connected to our land, our whenua, if you like.
I'm actually blown away. I'm just sitting there going, what?
And that is why we had conversations like this with these women, and the more we do it, the more the women understand that this is the way we need to go back to. We've done so much damage on the land with putting all these fertilizers and chemicals and and whatnot, and it's actually impacting our food, our taro. All Pacific people eat a lot of tuberous, food, food that's actually grown in the ground, like taro, umala, and all those sorts of things. And you're putting directly into the soil the glyphosate, the paraquat, whatever it is, fertilizers that you're putting into the soil, and it's going into your food, and then that food you're feeding to your family. And we're having so many more diseases now, NCDs, that we're having to deal with every day. And that's the message we want to get out there. This is not just impacting one tiny little iota or thing. It's impacting all of us humans, at every level, and the planet and the ecosystems. And that's why we need to be aware of it, and we need to go back to doing things naturally.
How it was done back in the days. And I'm sitting here, I was like, I always thought it was it was natural, organic. Like ako i Samoa, when I hear it all the time, it's organic. But you're right. No, a lot of farmers I've seen, they've got vili mai se lafo mai se kupenga e whaakaua ia fertilizer. It's like anga whenga I lo ngā mele fertilizer. But and then now I'm thinking about it, you're so right, because I do come from Kua, and you can see, and I'm sorry if I offend anyone, but you can see, if you're living in a Pea, a lot of people in a Pea, their products are a little bit, have that added X factor in it, if you, but
well, you can tell straight away with the taro. I mean, it's all like flowery and
I was just going to say that, but when you're in Kua, you can just tell, you can, kaloia mo i Kua, and Koko, but I'm just saying, because they don't have direct access to like fertilizers, chemicals, because they have to make do with what they have there, and that's how they survive, is they plant their own. Because I know a massive farming area in Samusu as well. Susi and Kalaka do a lot of farming there, but mainly with kukama because it's quite in high demand in a Pea. But they do the sort of thing. But I didn't know about the moon.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of, my mind's like, everyone's probably like, you didn't know about the moon? No, I didn't.
No, because they didn't
I was
teach
born
it
in New
school.
Zealand, so it wasn't, and we never really kind of...
They didn't teach it in school. I mean, as soon as we heard about, other history, there's so many different histories that we were taught, and there's a lot of history that was selected for us to not know. So I guess it's sad, but that is a history that we now want to bring to the fore, and we want to be able to share it with people on an everyday basis if you're working on a farm. And it's just something quirky as well that you can start to look at as a new farmer. You can start to experiment with, okay, let's do corn at this time of the moon, and there are certain times when the soil is too wet and too soggy that you shouldn't actually put fence posts in because it'll expand too quickly. And
I'm just blown away with the information. I looked at the calendar and it said growing with Mother Nature, and then I saw the moon and I thought, oh, okay, must be just like any typical calendar. They usually have the moon in there, but I didn't actually know that there was a purpose why the moon, that the moon served a purpose on the calendar because of the whole planting and what's best. Do you think you have sorry, I'm not even going to ask. I know you have the best koko. And talk a little bit about the koko, and you're actually supplying to a customer that we've actually got here at the Pacific Business Hub.
Yes.
And we've got her products on in the front as well. How did that relationship come about?
I think Jessica from Star Māori, she's been coming to Samoa for a little while now. I mean, I think I've been farming a lot longer than she's been coming through. But when she has come through, she's obviously met people that have known Miss Sunshine Organic Farms. And I am probably the most popular or the most spoken of controversial organic farmer in Samoa. So I'm very vocal and activist in this way. And so she came through and she was needing to always fill her orders. I already supplied New Zealand and Australia since 2014. So we do like anywhere between 1.5 to 3 tons a year. And that's small because we're organic and we're the only organic koko growers that actually export. I don't know of any other ones. So that's how we met with her. And there are many other customers. We have to turn away customers all the time because we don't have enough. And one of the reasons why we got the women together is because they all grow koko and we want to put the koko together so that we can supply more. And so, there are many different buyers in Europe and America. And we're supplying right now Australia and New Zealand, 2 here in Auckland. So we're really excited with some new projects as well coming up because of all this calendar and because of everything that we're doing in terms of organic and promoting traditional farming. It's come about that people want to know about our organic story and, want to share in that. And that's why we're going to be coming together with another company to collaborate with them to make some chocolate products.
I can't wait.
But we did make chocolate products before, and it was sold all over New Zealand under a different brand called She Universe. But they're no longer around, and that's a long story. But of course, we're going back and we're doing our own brand. So.
I'm excited because I have a sweet tooth as well. We've got a few photos as well that we'll flick some of the photos through. If you want to purchase a calendar, this is the front cover. And wouldn't you want to wake up and plan your day with this beautiful, beautiful calendar? I absolutely love it. I love how you have captured just how raw, look at how raw the images are. It really, really, really makes, and I love this photo.
the jandals.
Yeah. It's just so real, lah.
It is, and that's exactly what we wanted people to see.
Yeah.
We didn't want you to see some kind of, frilly side of farming or made up. We wanted people to see the real farmers and what we do.
And this one here, April, is that's right. It is Floris that features in April, and I love that. I mean, I'll be honest. When I see Koko, I see it in the pack, in the ipu. I've actually never when I go to Samoa, I've actually never taken the time to appreciate, the Koko. I just see it sold at the flea market in a little package that's wrapped up in plastic. But this is such a beautiful photo. I love it.
We do run tours, agri-tours on our farm.
Do
So
you?
when you come to Samoa, I would be glad to host you and take you through the entire process of how we make chocolate, right from the tree, from the bean to the
I'm
the
actually
bar.
quite slack, I just go to Samoa to enjoy the beach, but the thing is, I love Koko, absolutely love. Oh my goodness, Koko is and I think it's because of that chocolate.
It's an aphrodisiac, and it's good for your skin and, good for all kinds of things, antioxidants. Yeah, so much more.
So then why am I breaking out?
Maybe because you're eating too much of the sugar from the
Oh
chocolate.
yeah, not the organic one. Look, we're going to go into a quick break because I really need to talk about this moon that I don't know anything about. This moon, eh? Guys, please stay tuned. Right after this, we're going to talk a little bit about the journey. And Europe, they want our Koko. Stay tuned, guys.
Te vili mai tina to me tima New Zealand me vai lo talo fa bacciale e la forma il telefoni per ya me piccino ana ya talo fa baccia ya wai te le ta walu se ofisa voi le se te tala lo ofisa mai ya le so sa no puerta o le sia sa so se faro lo fa ingo fie a me se le per wai ma lo telefoni tai mi uma o no vinga na anda sa wa le talo fa baccia mal tina to me ti sa lo faro lo se ki talo fa baccia.
Tau tua male au nanga mo tau sa mo service station nei tona i matu. Ma tau teu tuina lo ta vale, ma le tele onisi o matu au nanga i se. Ai le ngata foi le, ma tau te sia ke ina fo i lo ta vale. Siapa lah yang voice wow mau lau tapan. Apa itu yang vai pa ulusa? Awalnya telepon, matu te siapa lah yang voice mau lau tapan. Molo no posila fia. Mua tape lau ta vale pe out. Mua tape lau telefon ni tai me utu ina lau tapan. Male vaenga mulu. Mana tua fo. E matua I whaasaina, lo tau mawhtapa ai no fuanga whapeni. Ota Samoa, ore maota mo Samoa. Mato te fia e au na pea mo oi Samoa. Mawhtaile fia mai, we'll see you again. God bless.
Welcome to the Pacific Business Hub.
Te vili mai tina to meti mai New Zealand me vai lau talo fa batale e la forma il telefoni per via ya on me pitino ana ya talo fa batsa ya wai te le tawalu se ofisa voi le se te tala lo ofisa mai ya le sa no puerta o le sia sa so se faro lo fa ingo fie a me se le per wai ma lo telefoni tai mi uma o no winga na sa wa le talo fa batsa mal tina to meti sa lo faro lo seki talo fa batsa.
Talofa lava everyone. Yes, welcome back. Thank you so much for tuning in to all of our viewers. If you don't already know, we have the beautiful Floris here, who is a organic koko farmer in Samoa, who is here in New Zealand to promote and also to, she's got work here, the woman's farming calendar with moon phases. And a massive shout out to Georgie as well, who also said, interesting interview. She didn't know about the moon as well. So that's been awesome. But we've got a few more, before we get into the Europe and how Europe is trying to disturb the peace there in Samoa with the organic farming. We've got a few questions here that's come through. Where are we? Okay. So please, Floris, what are some of the challenges you find integrating our ancestral methods of farming with modern methods?
I think you have to talk about these two things separately, because one thing I'd like to let everybody know, when we were doing the research to do this calendar, and we were going around and talking to all the people from the villages and talking to the families and the women who are featured in the calendar, we realized a stark fact that so much of our traditional methods and our culture has been lost. And basically it was really sad, because a lot of these things, I think a generation that has now gone has not passed it on. And this is one of the reasons why I was so passionate about putting this calendar together. But it didn't come all together as a full moon phase calendar. A moon phase calendar looks really, really different from what we have here. It won't have any pictures on it, of course. It'll just have each phases from each part of the year and basically what is normally growing in those times, or what you normally do or restrain from doing in those times. So this isn't a fully moon phase calendar, but we're working towards that in the time to come. So when we integrate the both, what I try to do as an organic farmer, and when I practice it, is I always think about the advice that my father, my mother, or my grandfather, or my great-grandfather, what was given to me, and I try to remember. And it's funny, when I actually started working by myself on the land, and I started to realize and kind of be in the rhythm of the land, and I realized that, you know, there were like my ancestors whispering to me, you know, certain things, certain advice. It's like, oh, maybe you shouldn't do that. Or, you know, like little simple things like what I do to give food to the trees. The trees provide their own food. They don't need extra fertilizer or extra chemical to fertilize them. So what do? You're going to prune and cut away branches. You're going to utilize all of those things, those leaves and branches, and cut them down to create food for the tree itself. And so, you know, things when you cut down banana trunks, you know, you're not going to waste them and throw them away. You're actually going to use, because there's a lot of water in them, so you put them around the tree trunk so that the water is slowly going to water the trees as you go. So these are all traditional methods and things that our ancestors have taught us over and over. We've seen our grandfathers, our grandmothers doing them while we were little in the plantation, but we never questioned why they did that. And so these are some of the things that get whispered to me in my plantation, and I'm not kidding.
That's beautiful.
This is the connection that we need to have back to the land, and you can only have that when you actually stop and pay attention.
I love that. The boys know that when I'm into, I'm like, what? I'm actually blown away by, this. I've learned so much, just coming through. So we've got a few more questions that have come through. So thank you, man. These are awesome questions. Crop calendar would typically meet the market demands. Does this clash with the moon calendar, or have they established a method in which the two go hand in hand to increase income and or economic resilience?
Well, I think that's a work to be done. Yeah, definitely. I love that idea. Thank you for sending in that question, because it's something that we can incorporate the crop calendar into what we're trying to do now. But the reason why we did this is just to bring the people's attention back to where and how we used to farm without intervention of chemicals and whatnot, which is actually causing more damage than good. So I think anything that we put together, whether we incorporate those two things, is only going to be good for all the farmers out there, or for all the smart women farmers out there anyway.
Smart woman. Yeah, I love that. Where we've got a few more questions, sorry. Do they find that organic crops sold in market spaces are more in demand compared to chemically grown ones?
Absolutely. Today, people are looking so much for, good, healthy, nutritious food that has not been interfered with chemicals. And I think, I can prove this by saying to you how much I get for the cocoa beans that I sell, which is organic, but I can't share that secret with you.
Yeah.
It's something that you can actually try. So once we actually have our product out there in the marketplace, we usually do tastings and get people to come and try. And they'll usually know straight away the difference between, what's been grown in the conventional manner and what's been grown in the organic or traditional manner. You can tell that with any kind of food, not just koko. And I think most immediately you need to look at the area, if you're in Samoa, the taste of your food that is around your whale, your home, and how that compares with food that is, brought in from somewhere else. I would be safe to say that, the majority of Samoa has been interfered with in terms of chemicals. And it's really, really difficult to make those changes for anybody who's trying to be a commercial farmer. But we don't have commercial land. We don't have, acres and hectares of land to play with to be commercial farmers. We need to specialize, and we need to really look at doing the small, working with the small areas that we have and doing it so well and doing it in a way that is going to produce the most amazing nutrition for our bodies.
Yeah.
And that will, in the long run, it'll be the best decision that you ever make, and for the health of your family.
I'm all for organic now. I'm sorry. There's just another last question here. Is there a special market for organic crops?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's so many markets. People nowadays, the end user or the consumer is looking for food that is closer to home, food that they understand and that they know where it actually literally came from and how it was grown. And I think it's safe to say that you can go into any supermarket and look at the organic aisle is the most expensive aisle that there is. And it is because we have to, I think sometimes the organic farmers try to compete with the commercial farmers. You can never compete because they're two very different, very separate types of crops that you're working with, or the type of food that you're producing, and you're doing it for separate audiences or consumers. And so I'm out there doing this work to look after the consumer that wants to look after their body, to look after their families, to look after the land and the planet. And that's where my story comes from, and that's why people buy from me. They also buy from me because they like me.
I love that. And because you're a woman, because you're a girl. Look, I know that I'm looking at the time and we've gone, but I do have another question. Moving forward, is there like a project that you could possibly look at? I mean, I'm listening to what your story and your journey, and I'm like thinking, why is everyone coming back to New Zealand? Why is everyone coming back to New Zealand? Whereas if they can invest in exactly what you're doing, and like you mentioned, organic food, there's high demand for organic food, and it's, there's a massive switch. There is definitely. It's so expensive. But if they focus on our farming and everything back at home and, create a project like yourself, wouldn't that then just be good for Samoa and, the economy? Like, the money would just go directly back to Samoa, right? Well, moving forward, is this something that you could look at later on in the future, that you can maybe help keep our people back in Samoa? Because, every time I travel back, they think that New Zealand is beautiful, great, yay. But, man, there's still opportunities in Samoa to make some really good money, because now Europe is looking at kind of taking over as well, and we don't want that to happen.
Yeah, well, I think the Chinese will beat the Europeans, but anyway.
Let's not go there, but yeah.
Anyway, we have so many opportunities in our own country, and I think sometimes, it's that old thing, the grass is always greener on the other side. The grass is actually greener where there's no chemicals.
Yeah.
And that's for sure. I mean, you come home and you can figure out. I went home, in 2014, I was broken down, broken woman, broke, and basically went back home and looked for a way to dig myself out of a hole that I was in. And I mean, when I look at myself now, I can't believe that I dug myself out of that hole. And it was Koko that did it. It was the land. It was my reconnection back to my ancestors, what the gift and the legacy that they left for me there in Samoa in my village. And, you could make money out of anything if that is what you want, if money it is that you want. But, if you try to do something, if you need to go somewhere else to be successful, and you haven't tried to do something to be successful where you already are, then I don't know if you've actually moved very far. So I think in terms of business, and there's so much growing in Samoa as well, like growing in terms of industry. There's a lot of food type industries, and there's actually a number of cafes who are quite innovative and now, organic cafes and, really good food, farm to table kind of ideas. And I think that's really good. And obviously the program, the Food Revolution, that has had another impact on the Pacific as well in terms of what's good in the Pacific. It is completely up to the individual. I think if you want to be successful, you try and be successful exactly where you're standing, and that will be the test.
And I feel like I think I could be a pretty good koko farmer.
Absolutely, you're welcome.
I'm blown away. I'm still trying to. I'm just a little bit puzzled why. Just hearing your story, the moon story, full moon story, why, I'm just like, why is everyone coming back to New Zealand? Why have they invested so much time to come back here? They're basically coming here to do the farming here in New Zealand. They're investing their time, their energy, la ko wafu in New Zealand, where they can do it back in Samoa, and they probably get way more because New Zealand's like, injected with those chemicals. Just kidding. Sorry. I don't know. But just quickly, did you study any of this? Or?
No, actually, my only study in farming is, growing up as from 1 until 8, I was still in Samoa, and basically just remembering my great-grandfather's stories, my grandmother, and obviously my parents were my deepest inspiration because my mother, she was on the land, she was also fishing. And I have a little thing here. I grew up sitting on the shoulders of my father on his way to the plantation, and I was raised clutching to the shoulders of my mother as she waded out to sea to fish. And that was my life. And I think I always kind of harked back to that life, even though I've traveled the world and done so many different things. I've always gone back to the land, and that's where my deepest inspiration is. It's also where I reconnected to God, so that's a bonus.
Look, I wish we had 2 hours for the show. We have to wrap up, but sis, it's been an absolute honor having you. I'm blown away. I'm lost for words. I'm like, oh my gosh. It's been great. I've learned so much today, listening and connecting to everything that you've said. Thank you so much, Whawhitai Lava, to our amazing guests, viewers who have sent through the questions. Awesome questions. Thank you so much. Sis, did you have any final words before we wrap up the show?
Yes, actually, just quickly, the calendar is sold in Se Oriana gift shop in 141 Beta Drive in Mangere. It's also sold in Australia via Living Koko, another great chocolate ambassador who makes amazing chocolate, Living Koko in Melbourne. So they're selling the calendar too. And we're selling it at the markets on Fridays.
Poly-X.
Markets. So I'll be there every Friday. And if you're lucky, you might catch some of our chocolate tasters if you come down and check us out. Thank you so much.
No, thank you. Everyone, last week we promoted the awesome calendars, and all proceeds do go back to our women farmers in Samoa. Support your local. It's only $25 and it's worth it. Each they have a little quote at the bottom there, and just wake up in the morning, be inspired, stay inspired. And I'm going to do a cheeky little question before we go out. Who are better farmers, women or the men?
Hands down, the girls.
Hands down, the girls.
That's why this is the very first calendar, and it's Calendar Girls.
Calendar Girls, the Samoan styles. That's why le wakuli me e o vaenga e farm in New Zealand. Nah, kidding. Thank you so much, sis. Thank you to all of our sponsors. Stay tuned. Right after this, we've got Asiata and Hana to talk a little bit about the Dawn Raid and the apology. Oh my goodness. Stay tuned. Thank you so much, sis. God bless everyone. Have an amazing afternoon. So fast way for what?
Squad, baby. Rex, J Sands. Let's go. Oh, say say you are complete to me, I get you. By the way that you move and the way that you smile. Say, oh my Dorima, baby. Baby, you be giving your hand, I'll take you anywhere. You give me something that I never had. Cause you care, but about to me and the family. Say, why you waiting on me to talk to you? Yeah, I'ma listen what y'all say. Yeah, don't move out in the come here. Yeah, they on the layout, dirty wine, girl, dirty wine, yeah.